Welcome back, everybody. You're watching Breaking Point on America's Voice News. Man, we had a great show today. We had Newt Gingrich, former Speaker of the House, Jesse Melton running for Congress in the 22nd Congressional District in Florida, and we just had Vince Everett Ellison. Guy's awesome. You know, he wrote a book, The Iron Triangle, on how the black vote can escape from under the thumb of the Democratic Party once and for all. You know, it's crazy what's going on out there. So we have a really special guest with us right now. We have Al Mason. He is the co-chair of the Trump Victory Indian American Finance Committee. And you want to talk about like hardcore support from the Indian community in the United States, you know, the Asian Indian community. And it's really incredible. Al Mason, how are you today?
Wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's really special to have you here. You know, I've seen you all over the place. We have a mutual friend in Adam Weiss, who's like the top publicist around. He's really tied in. I met you. We sponsored the Trump Jr. Book launch in Manhattan and here at America's Voice News and in D.C. So, and, you know, you're everywhere. And I also spent time with you at the Trump Victory Day at Mar-a-Lago this winter, where our team raised a lot of money. You're a big part of that, and so it's really great. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so tell me about support in the Indian community. You know, what always struck me was the Indian community in the United States is very close-knit, and they came here legally for many generations, right? A couple of generations now. And how does it make them feel when illegal aliens from Brazil and Chile and Cuba and the Congo and Central America come in here illegally, stay here for 5 years before a hearing, and automatically get benefits? That probably makes you guys mad, right?
Of course, it does. You know.
Right. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do in the private sector?
I'm also an advisor to the hospitals in Asia and education academies in Europe and Asia. And now I am all out for President Trump's re-election. And I have been working with numerous Indian American missions, community leaders all around the battleground states. And my finding is that for the first time, Indian Americans who are Democrats will be moving big time to President Trump. At least 50% of Indian American Democrats who have been voting for Democrats since the time of Bill Clinton, 91, they are going to move to the column of President Trump. Now tell me why. The reason for this mass exodus towards President Trump is that they believe President Trump has done a great job on economy. President Trump has done a great job fighting the COVID-19, the invisible enemy. But the most important factor, the key to this whole thing, is a word called respect. The Indian American community has never been ever so respected as now by President Trump. President Trump has gone out of his way to respect, love, and admire the Indian American community, which is a very big block of 2.5 million voters, you know. So seeing the love coming from President Trump towards them, the Indian American community has also started bestowing that same kind of affection on President Trump. How else can you define the rally with 60,000 Indian Americans in Houston with Mr. Modi, Prime Minister Modi, and President Trump? How else do you define the 110,000 people at a rally in Gujarat Cricket Stadium coming to see President Trump? with 1 million people following him to the stadium and 1 billion people watching him on television in India.
Unbelievable.
His visit to the Taj Mahal, his visit to the Gandhi Memorial, and spitting the charkha has gone so well with the Indian people that they love him tremendously. And they, in turn, have been influencing their family, friends, relations who have been living here since ages, who are citizens here, to go for the president. So this has been a great survey I have conducted with a team of 100 experts since last 6 months at the battleground states, which establishes the fact that 50% of those Democrat Indians are going for Mr. Trump. And that will make a huge difference in the battleground states like Texas,
right,
Pennsylvania, Florida, Michigan, Wisconsin. So here we are. And maybe they, for the first time, would make a big difference, even though Mr. Trump may not need them, but they would be a big backup to support him. And trust me, people may not agree with me, but for the first time, they'll put a stamp on it, the Indian Americans. They will go in big numbers, help President Trump to be reelected.
I think those votes will be important. In the 2000 election, it came down to like 500 votes between Bush and Gore. And, before the COVID, Trump was ahead in 15 battleground states, even through May. But that lead has slipped, with the 95% negative media, 24/7, pounding Trump. Your votes in the community, and listen, we're Americans, right? We're small business owners. I think a lot of the Indian community owns small businesses. They've been under these draconian lockdowns. They're ready to break out. They need to get this thing going again, and they'll come out for Trump.
We're coming out in big numbers, big numbers. And see, let me cite an example. Like Florida has 140,000 Indian Americans who actually vote here. So far, they had been going for the Democrats, 80% of them. 20% used to go to the Republicans. Now, for the first time, from that 80%, 50% would be added on to President Trump's votes, over and above the Indian votes of 20%. So that makes a big difference. It's in every state, every battleground state. And this is a true finding conducted by professionals. A thorough research has been conducted.
Right. So President Trump has really reached out. I went to a great event with Don Jr. and Kim Guilfoyle on Long Island in Hicksville at one of the Indian communities places, and it was so incredible, and they were so engaging, and the people were so happy to see them. It was really stellar. Were you at that Hicksville event?
I organized it.
Yes. Okay. So, it was really special, very, very special. So what do you want to leave our viewers with today about getting out the vote for Donald Trump and a message from your people and yourself as being very engaged in fundraising for Trump?
The message is very simple. They believe in President Trump. They feel he's great for India. And President Trump has been making the right statements, which is resonating so well with the Indian Americans that nothing would break this kind of a bond between them. So it's all good. We need to be consistent with this message. President Trump is going to reach out to them quite often to the election time.
Yeah.
And he's sincere. He's been good friends with Modi. He's been good friends with India, rather the best friend, India has ever had. Nothing, no policy issue or of any kind would hamper this relationship. This is my finding.
Well, okay, Al Mason, and also, we're going to move a little bit away from China, and maybe India can take advantage of that with trade with the United States. I want to thank you so much for joining us today, Al, and we'll see you on the campaign trail for sure. You're a very special man, and we'll have you back when things get really hot, okay? Thank you so much, Al. Everybody, that was Al Mason. He's the co-chair for the Trump Victory Indian American Finance Committee. He's raised an enormous amount of money for Trump. He's a really wonderful man. And the Hindu and the Indian community, they're just amazing. And they're on board with Trump. This is David Zere. You're watching Breaking Point. We'll see you next week. And I'm heading to New Hampshire for the Trump rally.